Have you ever heard of a currency that used to be worth more than the US dollar, then completely collapsed, and might now be one of the most undervalued currencies in the world? We're talking about the Iraqi Dinar, or IQD. For years, it's been a hot topic for investors. Some see it as a speculative gamble, others as a hidden gem. But what if I told you the dinar's true value might be much higher than its current exchange rate suggests? Behind the scenes, Iraq is making some serious moves. Its economic strength, vast natural resources, and crucial policy reforms are quietly setting the stage for a potential comeback. In this video, we're going to dive deep into why the dinar's real worth might be a lot more than the official numbers show, how global economics are playing a huge role, and what the future could hold for Iraq's national currency. Stick around, because this story is more than just numbers. It's about the rebirth of a nation's economy. To really understand where the dinar is today, we have to look back at its roller coaster history. Before 1990, the Iraqi dinar was a heavyweight in the Middle East. Believe it or not, it traded at over $3 per dinar. Iraq's massive oil reserves and strong trade relationships gave it incredible global credibility. But then, everything changed. The Gulf War, crippling economic sanctions, and internal chaos completely devastated the economy. During the 1990s, the dinar went into a free fall. It went from being a powerhouse to being worth practically nothing, with thousands of dinars needed to equal just $1. By the early 2000s, the currency had totally collapsed, and Iraq had to start over from ground zero. After 2003, the Central Bank of Iraq, or CBI, introduced a new dinar, hoping to bring back some stability. But it wasn't an easy road. Political uncertainty, corruption, and an over-reliance on oil exports kept the currency suppressed for years. But now things are different, with global oil prices stabilizing and Iraq finally reforming its economy. Many analysts are starting to believe that the dinar's real value is much higher than what we see on the surface. So, what's the secret sauce behind the dinar's potential strength? It's not just about exchange rates. It's rooted in the real, tangible fundamentals of Iraq's economy. Let's break down some of these hidden strengths. First and foremost, oil. Iraq is sitting on the fifth largest proven oil reserves in the entire world, with over 145 billion barrels. Oil money accounts for nearly 90% of the government's income. As the global demand for energy continues to rise, Iraq's export power gives it an incredibly solid foundation for long-term currency stability. Think about it: when oil prices go up, Iraq's foreign currency reserves swell. This boosts the dinar's real strength, even if its official rate stays the same. But Iraq knows it can't rely on oil forever. And that brings us to our second point, the rise of non-oil sectors. For years, it was all about oil, oil, oil. But recently, we're seeing real growth in other areas like agriculture, manufacturing, and construction. The government is launching initiatives to support local industries, creating new streams of income and making the economy less vulnerable to oil price shocks. This diversification is making Iraq's economy more resilient, which is another crucial factor that strengthens its currency from the inside out. And third, let's talk about money in the bank. The Central Bank of Iraq has been quietly building up one of the largest foreign reserve holdings in the region. We're talking over $100 billion in reserves and gold, according to recent data. These reserves are like a financial shield. They're essential for keeping the exchange rate stable and protecting the dinar from market volatility. The more reserves Iraq has, the more trust international markets will place in its currency. It's a powerful signal of financial health. Now, a strong economy is one thing, but you also need smart financial management. And that's where the Central Bank of Iraq is really stepping up its game. The CBI has been implementing some game-changing reforms that could finally unlock the dinar's true value in the years to come. One of the biggest moves has been in modernizing the banking system. The CBI has introduced advanced electronic transfer systems and cracked down on money laundering, which was a huge problem in the past. By tightening regulations on private banks and improving transparency, they're cleaning up the financial sector from the inside. Another major focus has been on closing the gap between the official exchange rate and the parallel or street market rate. This gap used to be massive, creating instability. Through new controls on currency auctions and by working to comply with U.S. Treasury standards, the CBI is bringing these two rates closer together, creating a more unified and predictable currency market. And despite all the challenges in the region, the dinar has shown remarkable stability against the dollar recently. The CBI has been carefully managing the supply and demand of its currency to prevent major inflation shocks. All these actions are building international confidence in Iraq's financial system, and that confidence is a key ingredient for any currency to appreciate in the long term. The dinar story isn't just an Iraqi one, it's becoming a global one. Another reason the dinar might be undervalued is Iraq's growing reconnection with the world economy. Iraq is signing new trade deals left and right with major partners like China, India, Turkey, and the UAE. This is huge. What's really interesting is that Iraq is also starting to move away from using the US dollar for all its trade. They're exploring settlements in other currencies, like the Chinese yuan and the euro, which helps them bypass some of the restrictions tied to the dollar. At the same time, the government is actively rolling out the red carpet for foreign direct investment, or FDI. They're seeking investors for major projects in oil infrastructure, renewable energy, and transportation. All of this activity increases the flow of foreign currency into Iraq and stabilizes its balance of payments, which directly supports a stronger dinar over time. So, when you put all the pieces together, the economic data, the resource wealth, the policy changes, many experts and economists start to make a compelling argument. The Iraqi dinar is fundamentally undervalued. A key concept here is something called purchasing power parity, or PPP. This measures what the dinar can actually buy in terms of goods and services within Iraq, not just its exchange rate value. When you look at Iraq's economy through the PPP lens, it supports a much stronger exchange rate than what the market is currently showing. For example, Iraq's GDP, when adjusted for purchasing power, ranks among the top 50 in the world. The country's foreign reserves and oil exports are larger than those of many other countries with much stronger currencies. And importantly, Iraq's inflation has remained relatively moderate, which is a sign of good monetary control and economic discipline. These data points all suggest that the dinar's true value, based on its real economic performance, is higher than its current trading rate implies. So, what does the future hold for the Iraqi dinar? Is a massive revaluation just around the corner? Well, probably not overnight. A sudden, dramatic jump in value is unlikely in the immediate term. However, there's growing evidence that the dinar could gradually and steadily appreciate over time. If the Central Bank of Iraq continues on its path of reform, keeps inflation in check, and strengthens its international trade relationships, then both the credibility of and the demand for the dinar are likely to increase globally. Of course, political stability and continued investment in technology and infrastructure will be absolutely critical to improving Iraq's overall financial standing. Some analysts are even looking further ahead. They predict that as Iraq successfully diversifies its economy and builds up its non-oil sectors, the dinar could gain more international recognition. This could eventually pave the way for it to become partially or even fully convertible on the global stage. It's a long-term vision, but one that's built on a foundation of real progress. So, to wrap it all up, the current exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar really doesn't tell the whole story. When you look beneath the surface, you find a resource-rich economy, a growing sense of stability, and massive untapped potential. With its powerful combination of strong oil revenues, growing foreign reserves, and smart policy reforms, Iraq is slowly but surely rebuilding confidence in its currency. While there are definitely still challenges to overcome in the short term, the long-term fundamentals point in a very positive direction. They suggest that the dinar's true value is indeed higher than many people believe. As Iraq continues its journey toward economic modernization and global integration, the dinar could one day reclaim its former strength not through hype or speculation, but through real, sustainable economic progress. Thanks for watching. It's a fascinating story to follow, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it. If you found this video insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our future updates. See you in the next one.